Hi, everyone. Welcome to Brandenburg News Network. I am Donna Brandenburg, and I'm coming to you tonight in an unusual situation because we have some breaking news from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and I'm going to bring on my special guest, Casey Whalen. What's going on there, Casey?
Oh, all kinds of things here in Coeur d'Alene, as usual. Thank you so much for having me on today, Donna.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. It's really good to get that good information. Well, it seems like this whole nonsense started with them with the city council banning crosses at the parade. Is that correct?
It was the Chamber of Commerce, actually.
Okay, Chamber of Commerce. Let's give some background to this.
Yeah, and I was out of town while that was going on, so I don't have. I'm not privy to the details quite. I haven't caught up to everything yet, but basically, from what I understand, the Chamber of Commerce here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, a week or so, maybe 2 weeks before the parade, we're talking about banning all religious items from the parade, the Independence Day parade held here in Coeur d'Alene, and so that obviously caused a lot of local citizens to become very angry, and so they, obviously made their voices heard, and they sent emails, I'm guessing phone calls, that sort of thing, to the Chamber of Commerce, and basically they capitulated and they did not do that. So, of course, people showed up in droves with crosses, and I believe you want to play a video of a segment of all those crosses in beautiful downtown Coeur d'Alene, Idaho on July 4th.
Yeah, everybody was there standing with their First Amendment rights of being able to speak what's on their mind and the freedom of religion right there. And they don't have the right to tell these people anything.
Yeah, they don't rule over us, and so that's the same sort of problem we're having right now with our city council. We have a lot of people that have been in office for a number of years. They've been essentially implementing Agenda 21 or Agenda 2030 here, and the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, a lot of which is social engineering, and that has been going on here in Coeur d'Alene since 2000, actually, when then Mayor Bloom adopted CDA 2020, and that was the genesis of basically them implementing this social paradigm here in Coeur d'Alene. We're seeing some of the end results of that, and it's a lot of people are waking up to what the United Nations has been up to, and we're starting to identify these local organizations that are promoting the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which are, of course, counter to our constitutional God-given rights.
Mm-hmm. It's a real problem, and it seems to be a symptomatic problem, symptomatic corruption or systemic corruption across the United States of America. So I've got another video to play here, and it's on the gentleman's name is Dan Gookin, right?
Yeah, he's a local city councilman, and I basically, you don't have to play the video quite yet, but basically on Monday, July 2nd, the city council met and they entertained a new ordinance called a hate crime ordinance, and it's part and parcel. It's basically like a mirror of our Idaho law, malicious harassment, which has been enacted since 1983. I don't believe anyone's ever been charged with it. I may be wrong on that, but essentially they mirrored that same law here in Coeur d'Alene, and they gave it some extra teeth. We can kind of get into that a little bit more, but I was downtown on the 4th of July filming the parade, and I was basically trying to shame our local city council people for passing this hate crime ordinance. And among other things too, there's a lot of people are very upset with the way that things have been going in the city, and people are really tired of it. So I went down there anyways to basically just shame these people, boo, thumbs down, shame on you, you suck, that kind of thing. Just because I'm a citizen here too. I've lived here for over 30 years. I grew up here, and so this place is special to me, of course. So I want to go down there and voice my opinion, my frustration. So as I was doing that, Dan Gookin comes by, a city councilman, and you can play that video now and show people what happened.
Shame on you. Guys are white supremacists. No, we're not. Racist. You're a tyrant. You're a hater. You're a tyrant. White supremacist. You're a tyrant.
I think that's crazy. Let's play it again.
Guys are white supremacists. No, we're not. Racist. You're a tyrant. You're a hater. You're a tyrant. White supremacist.
Looking at he's laughing. He doesn't even believe what he's saying when he's saying it.
He's a narcissist. So, anyways, there's different subsections of the hate crime ordinance that was passed on July 2nd, and I'll just briefly go over it real quickly here. So it encompasses intimidation, malicious injury to property, harassment, assault and battery, public nuisance, disorderly conduct, threat, and conspiracy. And the flavor of all those, of course, has to do with basically if a victim's actual or perceived race, color, creed, religion, ancestry, gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, physical or mental disability, or national origin. So it's, of course, basically it's trying to chill free speech, and of course I don't like it, but after the fact, I went ahead and contacted the local Coeur d'Alene Police Department just to ask if he had violated the new hate crime ordinance, because he's using race, white, calling me a white supremacist, trying to get the people around us probably to not like us or whatever, but it's not true anyway. It's a lie. So I contacted the local Coeur d'Alene Police Department and talked with the officer there, and you can play that clip now if you'd like. And you kind of get a flavor of this officer's perspective too, which is really interesting.
Hey, this is Officer Rogers, Coeur d'Alene Police.
Yeah,
How you doing? Good. How are you today? Hey, this is Officer Rogers, Coeur d'Alene Police. How you doing? Good. How are you today? I'm doing fantastic. What can I do for you? Well, I just wanted to report that it seems, I guess, that Dan Gookin violated the new hate crime ordinance yesterday. Okay. In the 4th of July parade. He was in the parade, obviously. And I was booing him because they passed the hate crime ordinance, basically. I was trying to shame them. And so he called me a white supremacist multiple times. While he's going through the parade, called me and a friend that, and we're not. So, right. I mean, you basically violated the hate crime ordinance. Okay. Do you by chance, I'm going to apologize right now on my ignorance on this. I am unaware of that ordinance. Do you know by chance know the ordinance number? I got it right here. Hold on. The chapter is 9.23. Okay. Hate crimes to be added to the municipal code. So it's 9.23.010. And do you know if that's going to affect yet? I honestly, I think so. I'm pretty sure it was. Okay. Yeah, because that's going to surprise me, because you believe I'm prior military. I was firm believer in our Constitution. That would be impressive me if they would violate somebody's free speech. That's kind of impressive that way. I know. I can't believe it. I know. I'm really mad. A lot of people are very angry about this. Yeah, I'm going to read that right as soon as we get off the phone. And it's because, even the instance we had recently with, the basketball team downtown, and we had another incident a few months ago. Even those we can charge a crime. I know. It's really pointless. It's really pointless, and it's chilling people's free speech. So I mean, I know you're just the guy just doing your job, but it's ridiculous. Yeah, no, I'm going to read that right now. And so, okay. So you're the parade booing Gookin, just because you don't like the way he passed that. He called you a white supremacist, and you were with a friend, you said. So you want to pursue anything as well? Possibly. Yeah, I would say yes. Because we've been dealing with this for a while, and so, essentially they're trying to put their political opposition in a box, is what, and so, this is going to expose that this is one-sided, if it's not being applied equally, so anyway. Yeah, so I'll have to make sure, A, that if it's good, B, that code has actually gone into effect. Okay. Because I know a lot of times, if they pass something, sometimes it'll actually either not go into effect for several months, or by July 1st, the date for state code. I'm not sure what date is for city code. Okay. Yeah, I feel like they did it before the 4th of July for a reason, and so I'm going to guess that it is, but maybe not. Hey, this is Officer Rogers, Coeur d'Alene Police.
Okay, wow. So that's the end of that, yeah. Yeah, so you get a flavor for the officer. He's not really having it either. So
he's not buying it at all. He's like, this is about silencing people and taking away our right to free speech. And they don't have the right to silence us, because if they had the right to silence us, they could do whatever they want, and we could never disagree with them.
And that is, of course, the point. So, so this is basically being used
Hey,
as,
good. How are you?
you know, a hammer for the Marxists, essentially. But and they've become emboldened because they've been working directly. The FBI and DOJ have been working directly with local human rights education or local human rights groups, essentially, to encourage them to report hate incidences. And of course, they just love that. They even have reporting forms on their respective websites to report hate, which is of course fed up the chain to the ADL, SPLC, law enforcement, the fusion centers, and of course the fusion centers are relaying information to and from the local police departments. So it's a really vicious circle. We are living in a modern day police state that's even worse than anything that's occurred in history, and it's happening right now, and you may be being reported in your community by some of the same types of people to the FBI and DOJ.
I think people need to understand history and how many times these Marxists they recruit people to turn other people in. They in effect recruit them to be their arm, their extension arm there.
Yep. Exactly.
So do you want me to play the next one?
Well, so just what I wanted to mention, the friend that was with me, that the officer is asking, does your friend want to, is he interested in partaking in this too, is Dave Riley. And Dave Riley was a writer for Culture Wars magazine, which is Dr. E. Michael Jones's magazine. And he's a Catholic. And so essentially he has a bunch of information that he can provide to the authorities regarding Dan Gookin, because he has been harassing him about his religion. So this is going to get a little ugly, I think, for Dan. But yeah, go ahead and play the next phone call. The last clip is with AUSA U.S. District Attorney Casey Whalen, and she's, of course, part of the DOJ. She's one of the people that has been promoting this local United Against Hate, these events promoted by the DOJ to report hate incidences. Now, the difference between a hate incident and a hate crime is essentially a hate incident is someone who's violating they're condemning somebody for their race, religion, gender, etc. And then they will be reported to the FBI and DOJ, and then they will keep a list of these things. And if somebody does commit a hate crime, these other hate incidences can be tacked on as additional charges. So that's really the game that's being played here. It's extremely dangerous. I hate that I even had to do what I did here, but I don't know how else to combat this other than to hoist these people on their own petard, essentially. And so Dan Gookin is maybe, Dan Gookin may be the first one who will be violating this hate crime ordinance. I don't honestly know if he voted for it. I didn't catch that portion of the city council meeting, honestly, just like I can't hardly stomach even watching it. But regardless, there's been multiple other things that, that he's done that people just don't like. And so my point was just to basically try to shame them. And but yeah, go ahead and play that clip from Casey Whalen there, if you don't mind, from the U.S. District Attorney's Office of Idaho. She's here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Sorry to call you on a Saturday. I just wanted to let you know I just picked up your message. I took some leave yesterday.
Oh, good.
And so how this will work is I will refer it over, because we don't have investigators in our office, obviously. But I'm glad you called. I'll refer it over to the FBI and ask them then to do an investigation into it. If you have any video or anything like that, I'll ask them to get a hold of you to get it.
Okay.
And take a look at it. And then we actually hired what we're calling a civil rights attorney down in Boise. And so she's doing most of this work. As you know, our office is pretty small up in Coeur d'Alene, so we're my specialty, if I have one, or emphasis is violent crime on the reservations.
Okay.
So I will definitely rope her in as well in the email chain. Do you have video or audio or anything like that?
Yeah, that was sort of I was like basically publicly shaming them for passing this hate crime ordinance, ironically. And so I was shame on you, that kind of stuff, because I don't really agree with it. I guess I'm a First Amendment absolutist, I guess, to a degree. But anyway, he just started calling us white supremacists like 3 or 4 times and racist. And just, they're just words. But at the same time, if you're going to pass an ordinance and then you're going to do that in the parade 2 days after the ordinance is passed, it's kind of, a little ridiculous.
No, I mean, I think what, our office just believes in is the equal application, right, across the board. I mean, it doesn't matter. So if you can put that in a format that then is transferable over to the FBI, I don't know if you can put it.
Yeah, I already have some of the
drive.
Yeah, I have a folder already online. I'm actually going to put out a Substack article today about it.
Okay. Well, like I said, I will on Monday refer it down to Boise and then over to the FBI and ask them to get a hold of you. And I just was going through to see what I missed yesterday and wanted to let you know I got the message because I think oftentimes just that lack of response is so frustrating. So, and then we'll see what they come up with.
Okay, thank you so much, Tracy Whalen.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Casey Whalen.
Take care.
Bye-bye. You too.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's going to get kind of interesting here now. Regardless of if Dan is charged or not, it really doesn't matter. Honestly, the whole point is to maybe these people will start to see the light and understand that this is extremely dangerous. I hate that I even had to do that, but I don't know how else to combat this locally. These people feel like they could just pass these laws that govern us, and this is absolutely unacceptable. The First Amendment is it's absolute, and in my opinion, and these city council people don't have the authority to try to chill our speech in North Idaho. It's unacceptable, and hopefully with this they will immediately get rid of the damn ordinance.
What do you think is going to be the next step on this right now?
I guess, the FBI investigation. Now, I wanted to mention the penalty here because it's kind of interesting. This is how I believe they're controlling the political opposition. Because if you don't agree with the socialists and the LGBTQ agenda and you dare speak up about it, what some of these penalties are, in addition to you get found guilty of a misdemeanor, there's a possible associated fines. A misdemeanor in Idaho is generally 1 year and possibly 1 year in prison, with fees like community service and possibly also usually you're on unsupervised probation for a year, depending on how the judge decides to rule. So there's that. Then on top of that, they even go further, and this is really, I don't like this at all. But if you have found to have violated this code, you shall be ineligible for a period of up to 3 years for any city license, permit, or activity.
Wow,
So,
and there you go. There's another unconstitutional action right there. So let's just keep laying it at one on top of another, guys, in Coeur d'Alene there.
Yep. And so the other penalty here is a court may impose community service or participation in an educational program for violation of this chapter. Re-education.
And it also borders on slave labor too, where that's also unconstitutional.
So, I mean, as you can see, Idaho isn't quite as red as many people would like to think it is. So I just wanted to get that information out there, and I do appreciate your time. And if you have any other questions, we could talk more. But people can see all this information on my Substack. They can read the ordinance. They can see the city council meeting. They can see these videos we played. I lay all this out. They can find that at caseywhalen.substack.com, and my last name is spelled Whalen. And people can find me on Twitter, Casey_Whalen, and on Rumble, North Idaho Exposed.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for coming on tonight, Casey, and letting everybody out there in Idaho know what's going on across the United States too, because this has definitely become an attack that keeps repeating over and over across the United States of America. And we need to stand up for it wherever we are and refuse to capitulate and cooperate with this, because this is absolutely illegal. It's unconstitutional, all of it. And it's an attack against we the people.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, Donna. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for joining us tonight, everyone. And we'll be back with more breaking news as this comes out. This is kind of a big deal up in Coeur d'Alene, and I think we're going to keep our eye on this very closely. Have a nice night.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.